You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Cabral Concept. I'm Stephen Cabral, and today I'm bringing you a very special Motivation Monday from Miami. So I'm down here for 2 days, some private meetings with a company that is looking to do genetic testing and take it to that next level. Basically, take it from going through people like myself, naturopathic doctors, medical doctors, integrated medicine doctors, and looking to actually bring this direct to the consumer. So this is pretty intense, pretty amazing stuff that they'll be doing, probably out in the next year or two. So some people might ask, well, why would you partner with some of these companies that are actually going to allow the consumer to go directly to kind of like the source to get these specific tests on their own genetic testing? And my answer has always been the same from the very beginning. I did not get into this for the business of medicine or anything like that. My goal was to share what I found worked, to rediscover a lot of things that are missing today in integrated medicine and bring them to you. So if that can be easier, bring it to more people, there's 8 billion people. If we can bring it to more people out there instead of having to go directly through their medical doctor or naturopathic doctor, that's totally fine by me. So this will be one of the first companies, if not the first, to actually bring that out there. And what I'm doing is trying to help on the patient side of that. So what will the interface look like when you work directly with this company? And also, how can they make it as simple as possible and give you specific action steps to take away? So again, I do genetic testing right now. I've been doing it for years. And what that looks like is you simply have a lab shipped to you. You just give a little bit of saliva. And the brilliant thing is you get this shipped off, and in about 3 weeks to 4 weeks, you get your entire genome profiled. You get about 100 pages on just you, which is pretty amazing stuff. And it tells you everything from whether you have celiac, whether you can digest lactose, what type of diet is best for you. Remember, there is no one type of diet that works for everyone. Vegetarianism, high carb, low carb, paleo, Mediterranean. There is a specific diet that works for you. You just have to kind of look at it where you are in your life and then also based on your genetics. So we're not going to spend the whole episode talking about that today. What I'd like to do is get into what we call our Motivation Monday. So this is a really big one for me, and it's one of the main factors that everyone needs to get started on whatever that new goal is or whatever they haven't achieved yet. The issue is everyone seems to think that whatever their struggle is, whatever they're going through, that it's unique to them, that they're the only person struggling with what they're struggling with right now. And I'm here to tell you that after really 20 years of working with clients, and also myself, that in the beginning you do think that everything that's happening to you is just only happening to you and that no one else knows what you're going through. But then you start to discover more and more people, and you speak to integrated medicine doctors, functional medicine doctors, naturopathic doctors, just health professionals in general who have seen what you have, who know what you're going through, and can actually help you create a game plan to get you well again. Now, it could be you struggling with weight loss issues or wellness issues or maybe mood-based, whatever it might be specifically to you. What I want you to know is that you're not alone, that there are other people who have suffered what you're going through right now and have gotten well and have lost the weight. No matter how many times you failed before, again, someone's been in that position. They've failed too, and you might even fail another time or another 2 times, but you can get well, you can lose the weight. The only way that won't happen is if you stop trying. And that's such a huge takeaway because, to be honest, I didn't think I was ever going to get well. There was no hope. No one gave me any hope. They didn't know what I had. So how could I possibly get well if you don't know specifically what you're going through or what you have? What I do want to tell you is, after looking through the medical research and medical literature, as well as studying with some of the best clinicians overseas as well, is not only have these things already been documented today and have been researched, is that they've been going on for over 5,000 years in written medical history. That means that Ayurvedic medicine, over 5,000 years ago, they didn't call it the same name, because remember, it's just semantics, whatever you call a disease. But they had written description of rheumatoid arthritis. This isn't a new disease. This is something that's occurred throughout probably the history of man. Back then, they just used to call it vata ama. And what that means is simply vata being affecting the joints, ama being toxicity. And now you look at it today, flash forward 5,000, 6,000 years, maybe 10,000 years from what it was actually written, recorded history, is that we're finding this mycobacteria inside the tissues, inside the cells. So maybe after all, they did know what they were talking 6,000 years ago, and there actually is not necessarily a complete immune dysfunction, but rather an immune system that can see things on a much minute level than we can, even with our best testing right now, even though we are finding these things called mycobacteria, again, with rheumatoid arthritis. And it's not just with RA or rheumatoid arthritis. This goes for Hashimoto's, this goes for any autoimmune disease, any energy-based, any mood-based, or any weight loss-based disease. So what I'm telling you here today is, if you haven't succeeded yet, it's simply because you haven't found the underlying root causes of what's causing you issues, whether it's toxicity, vitamin, mineral deficiencies, or any number of things. And you can test these things through at-home lab tests, or even just start with a plan that has worked for someone else based on your specific conditions. It's at least a place to start. Is it customized for you? No, not specifically, but it is a place to start, and you do have to start somewhere. So don't give up, keep trying. I know you're going to be successful one day. Thank you for tuning in to the Cabral Concept here in Miami. I'll be back real soon.
I want to sincerely thank you for your support of this podcast. I couldn't do it without you, and I mean that. I truly do. I also want to make sure you knew that we now have multiple ways for you to find your answers to the most difficult health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging questions. You can find podcast-specific topics like thyroid, adrenal, hormones, sleep, digestion, Ayurveda, and many more at stevencabral.com/podcasts that will then link you to your favorite Apple, Spotify, and other podcast players. Plus, all new podcasts and weekly exclusive video content is being added to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Stephen Cabral. And that's Stephen with a PH. Head on over and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the exclusive content. Lastly, if you've ever found any of my podcasts or books to be helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes or your favorite media player for the podcast. Rating and subscribing to the YouTube and podcast allow me to reach more and more people and help spread my mission of healing throughout the world. Thank you again for being a part of this movement.